Okay, good afternoon. I guess we are live now on YouTube. Somebody give me yes, please, if you can hear me. And if you can see the screen as well. Testing. Okay, there's a slight delay. So, yeah, okay, thank you. Finally, we got the answer. Because there's a slight delay, I think there's a 30-second delay. Okay, Vic, thank you. So, let's start immediately. First, we're going to go through, first, for those of you who were there this morning, I'm going to go through the trades we looked at this morning, the trades we took, what I did with those trades. And then I'm going to go through the trades that we have setups for now and what we're going to do with those trades. So let's start from the top. This is one, by the way, this is one of the trade we are in. And this one is, you're still in this one, and I'll explain that later. Let's start from the top. So Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar close, re-enter. So if you're in this trade, by all rule, it's a buy. By all rule, we will close the trade. Remember what I said. If you start to see a consolidation, after it tagged and it pulled back like this, and you start to see a consolidation here, that's where you close the trade. So you close the trade in that consolidation, take this small loss, and let it go. Now, we sometimes we do consider the sell, but in this case, I did not take the sell because I think we're just making a bigger consolidation. So I think this consolidation here would eventually go back up, and then we will get a flat, after which we'll still be selling. So I'm looking at this consolidation as a possible flat forming. Now, just maybe we would have got the sell setup, but too much consolidation here in the 15 for the sell, so I'm not in the sell on this one. Dollar Swiss, we have a sell entry. We took it off because it was this morning at this level that we put a sell entry here. If it comes back to the top, you take off the sell entry from there. Now, we're still in a consolidation. I'll take this off. This is still a consolidation. Right, so what that means is that at some point this starts to go down, and we'll be looking for a sell setup here. So instead of selling it from the bottom here, we'll sell it from the top going down. Euro Swiss, same thing. Remove the entry because you're at the top now. And like I said, if it goes to the top, wait for it to come back. We wait for this to come back here, and then we look for a buy setup. Maybe, just maybe, we might sell this if we get an entry here. So if we get a 15 minutes flag here, if we get a small 15-minute flag here, we would sell this to break the low. And then you get this flat for the upside. So it all depends on whether we get that or not. Then this would become a buy setup from a sell. The buy setup is limited because we're in this flat structure, so it's pretty flat. I think you can see that. So any move here that gives us a buy setup would only be to break this top. So first, let's see if we can get the sell, then we look for the buy. There is no trade in it right now. Euro pound, take off the sell. This one actually went up pretty high, so the sell is no longer valid. The sell was this flag here. It actually moved up high, but this is mostly a pound movement, and we didn't have a buy setup on this. We're at the top there now, and if you look at the structure we're in, we have this structure in play right now, right? So what we have is a move up, a sharp move down, and a move like this up. So that means at some point this comes back here, go back there, and then drop. Any sell setup we'll get from the top we'll take, because the move to the downside is a bigger move. If we get any sell setup, all you need is a pullback, a flag, and we take this trade back to the bottom here. And that likely could happen today or tomorrow. Pangos, we're in this sell, and this one you keep because there was no consolidation. It's a drop. Let's go to the 15. So on the 15, the first thing you do is you come down here, see the drop straight, broke the low. Then pull back. Once you break that low and you pull back, you stay with the trade. Right? If the low was not broken and this consolidate here, then you close the trade. And it's mostly on the hourly. You're looking at each hourly candle. Right? So you see we broke the low there. That's one candle sideways. We broke the low. You get another candle sideways. You break the low. And as long as it keeps doing that, you stay with the trade. If this consolidates above here, we close the trade. Pound Swiss, we didn't take this one. I don't know if any one of you put the entry order on, but the entry order should have gone here. We didn't put it on because we didn't have this drop. It was going up. But if you put the entry order, the first entry order will go there. You should close it and then re-enter at this point. So some of my traders should be in that trade because that's how we do it. So I hope they're in this cell. But we didn't take this live in the session this morning. We were waiting for a flag. And that is the flag you're waiting for. So it was going up this morning when we were here. And it actually went up, came down back. That's a good sell. I don't know how many of you took that trade. Would be I don't know how many of our traders are on here right now because I can't see the list of people who are on, but then it would be great if you can, let me know if you take the trade. Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss, I think you can clearly see we would close this. We never broke the top. We're consolidating at the side. So once it starts consolidating at the side here, the first move up didn't break the top, starts to consolidate, close the trade. So you had you had a lot of time to close it. Not the first one, you pull back, go again, you close the trade. Take off that one, take off this one. Right, both of those are off. What you're getting here now is more of a sideways movement. I still think we can probably look at this as upside. We don't have an upside here as yet, but this probably could still be upside because we're not coming down as yet. We'll probably look at this as a bigger correction. Possible bigger correction for upside in this piece here. So if this comes back here and stayed in this range here for the thing, we will still be looking at the buy setup. So maybe later on, I think we can probably even put an entry order there now. But later in this session, we'll come back to this. And once it comes to the bottom here, I wanted to come and break this low here, then we'll put an entry order above the top here. So the buy is still valid, except we would close and we'd put an entry above the top. And yen. Well, if you didn't close it, you should close it, but this is where you should close it. Right, so the entry is there, you close it here, this is making a flag. I am not selling that flag as yet because I don't think this one is going to go down too much. I think we're still in the consolidation, but a bigger consolidation. So the stop was here. I don't see this literally dropping back to the bottom here. It's possible, I don't see that happening. I think this would probably make a bigger consolidation, go back up there, and then we might get something like this for one more down. So from a smaller one, it turns out to be a much bigger consolidation in here. So I don't see the downside as yet. There's no sell side. If we were at the top here, then we'd sell. If we were at the top, we sell. But from in the middle here, I don't think that sell is a good idea. So I'll just wait for this to make a bigger correction, and then we look for the buy setup. So I'll take this off. Basically, you saw the trades we took this morning. There's one more here. That is the natural gas sell. Well, this sell is still valid. If you're in the sell, it's still valid. There is no consolidation. See this actually tag you and pull back. There is no consolidation. It's coming down. So as long as it's going down, it's still valid. It could drop through. If it starts to consolidate, we will close the trade. As a matter of fact, you want the consolidation for the upside. It has to consolidate like this. The close. Right now, it's coming down, so it's still downside. We leave this trade and we'll manage it as we go. If you're not in the trade and you're just joining us, put an entry order for a sell here. Simple. Not difficult. You're not in the trade and you're saying to yourself, well, if this still is going to drop to the bottom here, I still want the trade. It's still a valid sell setup. But you don't have to jump inside from where it is. So if it doesn't go and it stays here, we're going to close this one. We'll put the entry here. Pretty simple. Right? Now let's go. We're going to look at all the other trade setups we have. And then you will tell me what trades you want me to look at. The one that moved quite a lot that we didn't put in the room itself because we were waiting for a flag was this one. And if any one of you managed to put it on, that was great. So when we were here, we didn't get much of a flag, but then they made a flag here. So if any one of you put an entry there or put an entry under the low here, this is great. Any one of those two is a good sell setup. It's already going down. I'm pretty sure some of my traders win. If you're in this trade, you'll start moving your stops. Right, you definitely first put it to break even and move your stop because there's a good chance that we're making a 1, 2, 3, and it will go back up for this sharp move here and then come back down. Remember this morning I explained this could become a flat of its own for upside, or we're literally going to drop through the bottom. So if we're dropping through the bottom, all you would need is a flag again to re-enter. It stops, reverse, we'll buy. It makes another flag, you keep selling. So if you're in the trade, all you have to do is get it to break even and wait to see if it goes more. That's it. So let's go through back the majors now, see what all the majors are doing, and then we'll go from there. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Yes, let's go. So dollar index. Dollar index going up. This is what you want. This is a clean trade. Breakout and go. So if you're in any of the trade, when you want to know what a trade that we stay with, this is a clean trade. You got a flag, you got a clean entry, and it's going clean. So you don't have to do anything. This is the trade. When you're in trades like this that go, the ones that don't go are the ones you're going to manage, like we just did. Silver. Actually, the silver was a sell from this point here, if anybody took it. If you sold it from the breakout, which we didn't do this morning because I was still expecting this move up. So once this move happened, if you put an entry there for the sell, that's good. It's still a valid sell. Right? Now, this might pull back a little, but it can drop some more. Pull back, drop. If we get a flag, we'll sell it. If this stays here or make a flag here, it becomes a sell setup for downside. I would probably go with this as the running flat. I think we could go with that enough as the running flat for downside. So any flag now would be a sell setup to come back and break the low. Is there a chance that this could still go back up? I think the question you'd ask, well, is there a chance that this could still go back up, make a new high, and then drop? Which means we'll get a correction like this. And that is possible. If you look back in the past, you would probably see situations like that, where you had a really good flat, but instead of going up, they make a deeper corrections and then go. Let me see if I can find one. We're looking at an internal, where this starts to go down, but then go back up. So you'd have to look at a pattern where, like say this one, for example, right? You kind of make a move down. You made 1, 2, 3. This starts to go down. Your thought process is this is going to go to the bottom, but instead, make a flat, go back up, and then drop. So when it comes back to the top, it becomes a flat for upside. At this point in time here, when this starts to drop, I would have to cut the charts for you to see that. So we're going to take this out. I'm going to take this out. And we're going to cut the chart here just for a second so you can see that. So let's say you're looking at the chart and you're here. And you're thinking, well, we've got a big move down. We've got a 1, 2, 3. So this move, if it starts to go down, right, come down here, would likely continue to drop. That's the thought process, right? But can this go back up to the top? So I think we already know that it went up to the top. I'm not going to go through the play because that will just take a lot of time. Let's see how fast it can get it to go. That's 3. Let's make it 10 times. I just want it to go fast and play. Right, see, it came down here. You thought this would go, and then instead it go back up. Stop. If I can stop it here. This would become a buy setup. This was a small one here for a sell. That didn't go, then it went up back. So this move down changed once you start to get consolidation in here. Which means we can take this off now. Which means this move down here, although we thought that this could go, although we're thinking, well, this here, after this consolidation, this one could drop. There is still a chance that this goes back up, make a new high, and we still drop. So before you sell it or before you jump into the trade at this level, you definitely need a flag. You need some kind of a correction here. Something like this. You need something like this here to confirm that we're going to actually go one more down. If not, this could literally go back to the top. We might even buy it. Gold. Gold didn't move much. It was here this morning. It's still there. We're still expecting that move up. So if we get any buy setup, we'll go with it. There is no buy setup. There's also no sell setup on it. Euro. Okay. So if you were in the euro sell this morning, when it pulls back like this, when this pull up here and do this, see that consolidation there? That's your closing. So you would close this for a few pips here. If you wanted to sell it, I'll take this off now. If you wanted to sell this, you notice I have two lines here. I have this line building up here and I have this one here. If you put that line there, right? If you wanted to sell it, this is where you'd sell it again. But I'm looking at the depth of these pullback and I'm thinking, well, I don't think this one is going to go down. I think it could come here and break this low, but then we're looking for an upside. So in the big picture of things, if you look at it like this move here now is more of a flat. Look, here's a good example. See this piece here? That's more of a flat for downside. Right? So I think this piece here is making more of a flat now for upside. One more up, and then we probably come back here, and then we totally go up. So the question is, can we buy this trade? And would it even go that much? Because there's a good chance that it doesn't go that much. It just comes and break this top. There's a good chance we only go break this top like this and then come back down. But this would give us enough to get out for break even. So I say we go for the buy. Go back into 15. And there are two ways you can do that. The first way is you'll take this out. We can put an entry above the top. And that is, if this takes off like a rocket, we're in that trade. Or the other way is you let it break this low first. Go back up there, make a flag here, and then we take this flag for the upside. Now the flag is a better entry. If you get the flag, you get a much better risk to reward in the trade. If you don't get the flag, put the entry above the top. So we're going to leave this entry above the top here. We're going to put a stop just under, probably somewhere here and under this low. If this is irrelevant, the stop here is irrelevant. That is just so you can calculate your risk, how much you're willing to risk, so you know what lot size to put on. We're not going to live with this stop, which means we're not going to let it, if it goes there and tag us, we're never ever going to let it come back and take you out here. But the reason you do that is because sometimes they tag you here, pull back to the low, and then go. So you don't want this to take you out to the bottom here and then go. We'll try to close the trade much earlier than that. We showed you in the yen on about 6 trades just now how we close them before they ever get to your stop. And that's the goal. If the trade is not going, you have to get out of it. So let's go back now. We're looking for a buy setup here. So I'll put this as an active buy. You probably allow it to come a little lower, and then you can put the trade on, but we can put it now as an active buy. Pound dropped, so we don't have any trade in that. We'll have to wait until we get a setup. Aussie is coming. Like I said, I didn't sell this because of this consolidation here. When you get that much consolidation in it, the chances are you're making a bigger flat right in here. So this trade would not have given you much. You'd have to put an entry here. You'd have to put a stop here. And at this point, if I'm in that trade, at this point, I'll probably be thinking of moving it to break even or closing it. Because there's a good chance from here we go back up. We get a flat, more than a bigger. Here's a good example. See this? Come down here and still stay there for a while, even go back higher before they drop. So there's a good chance this is not enough of a correction. They'll probably go back up. If we get a flat here, we'll sell it from the top. We'll absolutely sell it from the top. So can it drop to the bottom? Just maybe. I'm not sure if they'll go. In any case, if they go, you don't have a trade. Wait for the upside. The bigger trades are to the upside. The sell from the top here and the sell from this one and the sell from this one and the sell from this one was great. The sell at the bottom here is not really great. You don't get good risk to rewards on that one. So let me repeat. The first sell here was good, break even. The second sell here was amazing. The third sell here was good. This sell here was good. This sell here was good. This sell here, not good. Because remember, you're the bottom. See this? You're the bottom of something. This is for the upside. So if this is going to go a little more, you let it go. You let that go, and then you wait for a reversal to go for a deeper correction. Because this sell is not going to really go very far. New Zealand. It's still going. Well, I closed my sell already, so we'll have to wait for either another sell setup or wait for the upside. I don't think they're going to go very far to the downside because some kind of a correction needs to happen. Right? When you get it like this, at some point, some kind of a correction needs to happen for us to get a continuation. So as soon as we get that consolidation, we'll sell it again. And we're coming back to this low. If this turns to go up, we're going back to this top. So the buy is a much better risk to reward trade. Let's see if we get the buy today. Yen. This trade was closed but positive. Right, so put it back here. See it tag either, and I warned about the yen. They're not going to go very far to the upside. So what it does is the first one it tagged you with was actually this one. That pull back, you don't do anything. That goes, that pull back, you don't really do anything. When it goes back here, close the trade. That's not the trade we're looking for. So although it's positive now, you're closer. Now if you still want to buy it, I think we'd have to look at it differently. If you want to buy this, you want this to come back here. You want this to make a flat. So you want this to come back here. And if it comes back, well, maybe you get a buy. But if they start to go like that, you're going to be in a channel. And if we get a channel, I'll show you how we trade channel when the channel forms. So right now, the buy here is not a good idea. We'll take it off. And we'll wait for it. Sometimes if you really think it's going to take off, let's say we were at the bottom of a structure when that happens. Not the top of a structure, but the bottom of the structure when that happens. And we're buying it. I would say put the entry order above the top. But because we're at the very top of a structure, I would not be putting an entry order above the top anymore. Right? Because that's kind of dangerous. Let's go. Swiss went up a little higher than normal. We were trying to get this done, so we'll wait. I don't think they're coming back to this top, but if they do get to that top, right, if this turned out to be a deep correction here for upside, if this is a deep correction for upside here, we'll sell it from top. We might not get the buy anymore, but we'll definitely get the sell, because remember what we were looking for? We were looking for this to come down a little here and then go back up there and then drop. Well, if it goes from here, we'll be selling this. This is a perfect flat pattern for downside. This is your trade. And you can see the first sell of that trade was here. So we look for the exact thing. Look for a flag here and then go down for that trade. So if it goes up, it goes up. Let's wait. CAD. Okay. We didn't take this trade inside the session this morning. But remember what I said, because we were here. I said you need some consolidation here. And if you get it, put an entry above the top. So this is a trade we were looking for a long time. From the bottom here, some of us are in that trade already. This is where you should have entered. So if you were in this morning and then you waited, this is where your entry should have gone. We couldn't put an entry on because we didn't have anything. As a matter of fact, this morning we were here, right? You had this little flag and you were here. So this whole consolidation here means you put an entry above the top and you go with it. If you're not in the trade, at some point it will make a deeper correction. And at some point this will start to make a deeper correction before it goes. But that is the trade for today, which means right now you'll have to get that trade to break even and see how far it goes. Eventually it's going to pull back, right? This entire piece here is going to pull back for a flag. You're going to pull back here, get a flag like this, and then go. Maybe it goes a little more, pull back here, get a flag like this, and then go. So we'll buy for that. The bigger picture is upside. I think we already discussed that this morning. Somebody asked me this morning and I said, the bigger picture of this is upside. So you really haven't lost anything. If you're worried that you're missing a lot on the trade, you didn't miss anything. The move is to the top here and then probably break out. We're looking at this as the flat. As a 1, 2, 3. Go back to the top and go. So you really didn't miss anything. You're still going to get a 1 hour flag. You're still going to get a 1 hour flag here for the trade if you miss this one, right? So if you miss that, don't sweat it too much. It's going to start to make a 1 hour flag very soon, and then we'll all be in the trade to the upside. All of this, we don't have anything from Euro, Oz, nothing. We want Euro, Oz to come down back. Actually, we want this to come back here a little, give us this flat. Similar to this one probably, or this one even. And then we're looking for this to go up. Continuation to the upside. So wait for a pullback, get in the trade. And EuroCAD, nothing here. You actually wanted to pull back. It didn't pull back, so we can't trade it. I want this to pull back here, give us this running flat, and then we can go for the trade. Didn't pull back, didn't get everything. Remember, we're in a big sideways move. So basically, we have 1, 2, 3. If it just go like this and break the top, we're looking for this trade down. So I think you can see this flat here. Pretty much the same thing we're looking for, and a bigger version of that for the downside. Go to the bigger picture so you can see this. Pretty much this is what we have. And as you can see, we're going down, and we're going down from this top. See that big flat there? Upside, big flat, upside. We're making one of those big flat at the top here now. So one of this here will be downside, and we're pretty much at the top of it. And the 4 we're pretty much at the top of that. For the downside, I'll take this out. This was the low, and I'll put the line now because we're about to cross over to the top. Look for your sell setups. Let it go a little more, and then we start to look for this sell to the downside. We're waiting for it to go a little more, and then we're looking for this trade from the top there coming down. Pretty much like this one. See? From the top here, coming down. I think we're going to get it. Here in New Zealand, well, this one was gone since yesterday. If you wanted this trade, you ought to be in it from here or from here. Now we wait. If it makes another flag, we buy again, but you'll have to wait for a 1 hour flag. So you'd have to wait for something to consolidate here, and then we can buy it tomorrow. Euro yen. We closed it. We took it this morning, but we closed it, and you see the right reason why we closed it, right? So this morning we had this small flag. We had an entry below the flag. It went up. Once it went up there, we closed the trade. Now we're looking for a buy setup. So now if you want to buy it, put an entry out above the top. Remember, there's a high risk in buying any of the yen pairs right now. You can still buy them, but there's a high risk they're not going to go anywhere high because they're all at extreme levels. See? So this one is going to go break the top, and then it might not go very far before you come down. There's this sharp move here with it. We don't have anything for. So at some point when it breaks that top, we could get this move here before we get a running flat. And then one more up. So if you're taking this trade, you have to take it with a lot of caution. In that if it doesn't go, you have to get out of the trade really quick, like we did in the Aussie, and I think about 2 or 3 more pairs. Euro Swiss. Let's see if we get the sell. We can take this off now. Let's see if we get a sell coming back here. If we don't get the sell, we'll buy it when it comes back here. So we're expecting this to come back here and then go straight up. 4 hours, this is what it looked like. See? We're in this move. So we're going to put this here like this. And we had like a 1, 2, up. You get this. We may or may not put this as an expanding flat. I think it fits an expanding flat there, which means this consolidation here goes break the top, and then we can expect this to drop. But this is a trade we'll definitely take. So let it come down first. Once it comes down here, we'll get the trade. Can we sell it to the downside? Go on to 15, and if you get a sell setup, yes, we don't have a sell setup. I'm just assuming that it's going to drop like this, but we don't know that. If it does drop like that, we'll get a good trade. We'll need a little flag for that. We need this to come down, make a little flag, and then go for the sell. Euro pound. We pulled this entry because it was here. We pulled this entry because it went up. So now we'd have to go with some kind of a contracting flat here. That's the closest you get to it. And we broke that up. Well, just like the Euro Swiss. Just like the Euro Swiss, this down move has to happen. This pull back and then go. I think the Euro pound has the same thing. Pull back. And then go back up. Because you got this move up, you got a sharp move down, you got that one, you need a sharp move down, and then you need this. So what you look for the sell? Well, what they got here, see that flag there? Come down here, make a flag. Take that trade to the downside. And then expect it to go back, complete this, and then drop. Because this one is coming from top, right? If you put it like this. We're coming from the top, see we're coming from the top. They made a flat drop, made a flat drop, made a flat drop. You can see those drops. Make another one drop. Well, we're making another one here. We're making another big one here. And this one would likely drop again. So we're trading inside of this. We traded a lot inside of that one. For those of you who were with us, you remember that. We traded the downside. It's kind of a big corrective structure right now forming this whole thing. I think you can see that, right? This one, I don't think this would go more. I don't think they're going to stay here for a very long time. I'm not expecting an extension of that. It's possible. I'm not expecting. But every time we come to the top, we'd look for a sell, we'd look for a sell, we'd look for a sell. We might even take the buys up in the same pattern. And then we'll see what happens. So come back here. And we're in this flat, and it's tradable. So wait for a sell setup. And if we're lucky to actually break through, I don't think we're going to get that lucky. Because I don't think they're going to break through this. Come here, wait for an impulse down, wait for a flag, get the trade. Pounds we already looked at, it's still going down. Let's see how far it's going to get it to break even, and then we'll see how far it goes. Pound New Zealand. Okay, this one is going down. It did break the top. We really don't have a setup in it, but yep, I think they can pull back. I don't think we're going to pull back very deep, but we might get a slight pullback here before they go. So let's go back on the 15, see. If we get a trade setup, we'll take it. Okay, this is not much of a flag. That's a little pullback, so I'd ignore that. We'll let it come some more and let it make a flag, and then we're going to sell. I think you can see this. Here is an example of what you'd wait for. Wait for this flag, and then sell. Right, because it's going to come down, probably go back up. We'll close that trade, and we'll resell this one here on the way down. So we can do the exact thing here. Since we're at the top, see this one drop, make a flag, drop, make a flag, drop, make another flag, drop. So let's see if we get that here. It already dropped, but that's not much of a flag. That's not a really good sell setup, so we'll wait. Pong in. Downside, if any one of you took the trade, you're doing well. We didn't take it live because it was going up. This was still going up, but once it gets to the top and it breaks this top, and it breaks this top here, if you put this one on, it's okay. If you didn't, no problem, wait for another flag. Wait for another flag here, that would be... Okay, we're looking for this one down, so maybe that is what they're doing already, put it like this. And let's assume they're doing that already. So they'll make another flag. Probably make another flag here. And then we go for this final drop before they go back up. We're going to look at this as a running flat. So yes, this will probably go one more, and then we'll go to trade. Pound Swiss. This is a good one. If you took it, you should have closed and re-enter. We didn't take this live. I put this on now, right? But the entry was here. This is where you should have put that entry when this went up, because see this one here. We didn't have it. We were expecting that to go. So this morning we were here, and I said let it go back like this. And once it goes back like that, you put an entry here for the sell. You sold it, you see this consolidation, you close it. Close the trade, put an entry under the low. So you're now in this trade going, and so far it's pretty good. On the 1 hour, that's just a single candle. So that's just a one single candle. So stay with it. This could be a big move down. This could be a pretty big move down, so you may want to stay with that. You close and re-enter. Good job. Well done. See? That's the rule. You're following it now, right? And now let's go. Punkat. So Asif is one of the newer member. He started the installment program. He's one of the newer member of our team in the group. And I think, as you can see, his style of changing, his trading has already literally changed. He never closed trades and re-enter before. I think that's a new style he's picking up, and he's learning the benefits of it. Once you start doing it and you figure it out, it'll be good. Like I said this morning, if we're going to buy this, we need a flag. If it's going to drop lower from this point, which means if we're still in this consolidation here, and this is going to go down lower, then we will need a flag here to sell it. Right? We just can't assume it's going to go lower. So let's put this here and assume. Let's assume they're coming back here. We will need a flag for that. So I will need this to make a flag here. And then we can trade that to break this low. But if we don't get any flag, we don't have any trade. Because you can make the assumption it's going to drop. So let's see if we get a flag. If we get a flag, we'll take the trade. AussieCAD. Okay. So this morning, AussieCAD, we didn't do anything. Because we didn't have a flag. This thing had just moved up like that without any flag. On the 15th, we've got this sharp move up and nothing. Well, now we have a flag. Now we have a correction. And that is this correction. So we'll put an entry out above the top here for the buy. That's a buy setup. Where will we expect this to go? Let's go back to the 1 hour now. If we're buying this, first we'll keep an eye for one single move up like this. And you may want to be careful at this point whether this is making something like that. So you get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then at this point, they could still drop. If not, it just keeps going and you're in the trade. You don't have to worry about it. So I'll put it like this with the assumption that it's making a running flat here. Again, I don't know that they're making a running flat, but if they're making a running flat, by the time this gets to the top there, we'll get it to positive. And if it keeps going, good for us. If it turned at that point, we'll get one more sell. So this is a good buy setup now, right? At least you have an idea what you're looking for. So if you were in this morning, or if you weren't there, you should go watch the video, because it's going to help you quite a lot to make decisions on what you're doing. So what we're saying is that we didn't take anything here. We did, you see, no trade setups, because we didn't have anything. Now we have a buy setup, an active buy actually. Aussie Swiss, you close and you re-enter. We were in this trade, so you close it, you put the entry above the top, and let's see how it goes. It still looks upside for now. Aussie yen. We didn't take this, but if anybody took it, you would have done the same thing. If you took this trade here, you would have put an entry here, you would have closed this. You see that sideways move there? You would have closed that. And if you wanted, I don't think there's any reason to sell it, because this is a sharp move. So we can expect a correction here and then go back to the top, or then even break out. We're looking for a buy setup with this. Right? This here should give you a buy setup. Even if it's going to go down from here, we don't have a sell. So we'll wait for this to finish what it's doing like this. Go to the 15. That is this move down here. And we'd look for a buy setup. I'll probably put a buy setup here, just above this top. So if for any reason this thing stops where it is here and then takes off, I want this trade. Right, if it keeps going down, well then let it go. I'm not in the trade. Aussie, New Zealand. So this is a buy setup. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, it's coming down. We didn't do this morning, but if any one of you saw, this is a perfect sell. Right, because this is a single move up. The bigger picture is downside. If we go with this being a bigger flat here, that's a good trade. So any of my traders got this sell in the Aussie, New Zealand is a perfect sell setup. You had this one, you go with 1, 2, 3. You go with 1, 2, 3. This is a perfect sell setup. Couldn't be better. That was not there this morning. It's a bit late, so what we're going to do is if this makes another flag, we'll sell. The bigger picture of this is downside. See? So we were already selling this from the top here coming down. You would definitely have closed your trade here if you were in it. And now we're looking for another sell to come back here. It's going to get to this bottom. So let's see if we get this out. Let's wait for another flag and then we'll sell it. The 15 minutes flag is gone already. So wait for another flag and then we'll sell. New Zealand CAD. Okay, this came down, it broke the low. We're looking for a reversal here, but they're making a flag. So by rule, if you get a flag under the line, you look for a sell setup. If you get a flag here under the bottom here, you look for a sell setup. If for whatever reason they're reversing it, and we think they should reverse and go back up. If this, instead of being a 1, 2, 3, is trying to go up, let it come here, make a flag here, and then we'd start buying. So you let it go up, let it make another flag, and then you start buying. You can buy this one here. As a matter of fact, this one here is a sell setup. New Zealand yen, nothing. It's coming down, but we didn't get the sell. So we'll wait. If any move, it could come a little more, we'll let it drop. And then if we get the move up, we'll take it. If they go from here, they're going to do this, come back here, and then go. So either this is a flat here and they go up, do this, come back here, and then go. Or that is not a flat and this one drops to the bottom here and then go. So either we get this and then we buy, or we can look for a buy setup from here going. Let's see. Just wait. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, so it dropped quite a lot. We were almost at the bottom here. Not almost, we probably broke it already. Let's see if we broke this low. Yeah, we kind of tagged the low. On the big picture, I still think it's one more up. I still think this should go up one more. And then we seem to have a few more. If we go up one more like this, then we have to come down as a 1, 2, 3 and then go back. We'll see. There's a lot of pieces in here built up. So you need 1, 2, 3. Now we can bring this down a little. And we can bring this down a little. And then we're going to carry this up back. And then we'll come down with this. So if everything goes the way we think it should go, we might end up with a running flat here. And then the downside. Right, because we're not getting this one here as yet. Go back on the 1 hour. Wait for this to go back up, wait for it to make a flag, and then we buy. So you want an up move, you want a flag, and then you buy. Right now we don't have that. Right now we kind of get this, which in itself is a downside movement to break the low again. Should we sell it? Not the great sell, because your stop will have to be the closest you can put this here. And the sell is pretty small. So let it break the low and then we go for the buy. Cadien? This one is at a very high point in the chart, but we've got some deep pullback. So I'll just say we leave the sell setup. There are sell setups here forming right now. Come on, don't do that. Yep. There's sell setups forming here right now. But because we have this deep pullback, this one here, into this move, there's a chance that once you break that low, you do this, then you come back and then go. So you can try to sell this, but just be aware that you might have to close it for break even pretty quick. Put a stop above here and put an entry here for the sell. It's an aggressive sell. Cat Swiss? Okay, you're gonna get one more down. I think we can take this trade if you want. It's just one more move down to the bottom here. And then upside. They should probably come here and then upside. So if you're gonna take this trade, that is if you want to. Not that you should take it. You can put the name shorter here. So put an entry there. The trade, you'll have to put a stop just above this stop. And the trade is only this one. After which we think that could go back up. So this would be a very, very short trade if it goes. Canadien. Sorry, Swiss yen. This is one we were in, so you will close it. You notice I already put a channel there, so we're closing that. And we can actually go for a buy if you want. You can buy it here. But if it stays in this channel, it's not going to go very far. Right? If this goes up back from here, they're probably just going to do this and then come back. But you can buy. You can buy for that piece. So 1-to-1 risk to reward in the trade. So we close and we wait. Let's see if it makes more flag for downside. We did break out, but I would not go with this trade as yet. Let it pull back first. There's a good chance this is going to come back here and then go. So look for the sell setup. If you want to sell this, the entry should be here. All right, we should put a sell setup there and wait to see what happens when it breaks this low for an up move. US oil, yep. If you took the sell, tag, you pull back, drop again, you're still in the trade. You don't need to do anything. All right, so that sell is still valid. When it breaks this low, put it to break even. When this comes here and break the low, put this to break even. S&P 500, let's see. Okay, you're getting the consolidation here. You go for a sell, put an entry here for a sell. Remember, this could be short term, but let's see how low it goes. If it could either do this right now, or it could do this and go back up. So we have to decide which one is going to happen. Just wait. That's a nice sell setup. US 30. This one is definitely upside. It's coming down, but it's upside. So this is going to come back here, probably retest this low and then up. So that's a buy setup. Okay. If you were in this cell, you would close it and put the entry under the low. Right? You don't keep it, especially when this starts to come back here. Close the trade if you did earlier. If you didn't close it and you're still in the trade, put an entry here, and this is gonna go. So this one is a sharp move. I don't think, maybe not close it. This is a sharp move. Let me see in the 1 hour how much hours. Now you probably wouldn't close this. It only stopped there. On the 15 it looks like a flag, but on the 1 hour you wouldn't close it. So this is still a valid trade you're in. Right? If you're in this trade, and if you're not, then you put an entry here, and we'll wait through this. If it consolidates here, we'll close it. This consolidation is downside. We'll close it and we'll put the entry here for the drop. So it's still valid for the downside. I don't think this is going to go back up. This is a valid sell. Nifty, some of you want to trade Nifty. It's wait for a flag buy. It's starting to make a flag here buy. DAX, if you're in the buy, you're doing good. Just stay with it. If not, put an entry again here for a buy. Let me see. You got about 3 or 4 hours there. Probably let it make a couple hours more sideways and then we're buying. Sorry, take this off. Let this make a couple hours more here, probably 2 or 3 hours more. Like this. Or better yet, something like this. I don't know. Let's see a bigger one like this. So let it go sideways for a while and then you look for a buy setup. This is a buy setup. Wait for a flag buy. If you're already in the trade, you don't have to worry. You just put it to break even. Tesla. For now, it's a sell because there's a lot of consolidation here. So for now, we'll put an entry for a sell. And if they go higher above this and consolidate, if it goes higher like this, if it goes like this and make a flag here, take that trade to the upside. Bitcoin. Buy setup. It's coming down a little, but that's a buy setup. It's coming down here a little like this, but then that's a buy setup. ETH, probably the same thing, coming down a little, but then it's a buy setup. Actually, this one is really nice. Let it come and break this low here, and that's a buy setup. But you want this little more to come, we can put an entry over here for a buy. And if you get it from the bottom, that's a better deal. This is a nice one. This could go pretty high. This one could come and break this top. If that goes, right, you want it to go and break this top, and when it breaks this top here, you can get it to positive and see how high it goes. The trade would be from here to there. You don't know how high this is going to go, but once it breaks that top, you get it to positive and see how high it goes. What if it does this, or this, or even higher? So that's a good trade. You don't have to worry if it comes lower because you wouldn't be in the trade. Put an entry above the top there. It's a really nice one. An XRP. No, this still looks a little downside. ADA, this is a good buy setup as well too. Put an entry above here, and if it breaks through, go. If it's gonna go down, you will have to wait for flags to sell, corrections to sell. So right now, that looks like a buy setup. Put an entry here and see if this takes off. So we'll see. LTC, I think we did this morning. It's pretty much the same thing. You can watch it. Nothing changed. This came down also. So this could be a buy setup too. This one come down here. This one could actually drop lower. See, in this structure, this could come back to the bottom here. But you'll have to get a flag if you're trying to, go for a sell. Let this here makes a flag here, and then we'll sell it. So basically, you have the idea on all of these what to do, right? So let's go back now and take some questions and look at the trades you want or the trades you're in. Let me see what trades you guys are. Maybe go up to break the top and begin. You'll have to type when you're typing a question about any pair, type the pair. Oh, so the pair is Euro USD. Yeah, it will probably go break the top. Yeah, if that's your question, yes. This could go break this top. There's a good chance this could go up there, break the top, and then come back. If this is the one dropping, right, let's say this is the one that is going to drop, all we have to do is wait for it to break this low, which it just did. Wait for another flag and then sell. Confirm that this flat here is not an upside move. Any flag here now becomes a sell to break this low. right? So wait for that flag. Don't sell this at the bottom here because there's a good chance if this is a flat, it's going to go back up. And if you watch this morning webinar, that's exactly what I explained, right? That you don't want to sell it. If this one didn't drop that we sold this morning, close the trade. What's the next one? Okay, I think that's the same question you had. Next one. Please look at Euro USD sell side and Nasdaq sell side. I just did the Euro USD. It's not a sell as yet. Wait for a flag now. Now that it's broken that low, you wait for a flag. You could have sold this if you want, but when it makes this deep pullback, right? We sold it here this morning. When it makes this flat here with a deep pullback, that's not a good sell anymore. Because this came back to the top again, which means this could be a flat and this could go up. So now if it stays here and it makes another flag here, we sell. So this has to stay here, make another flag, and then we get into the sell. If it goes back up, you can buy this for one more impulse up. And then take the profit because it's going to still come down, right? Let's go. What's the next one? Oh, that was the closing window. XAU. Okay, gold. So let's, a few of you want gold. We did it already. Let's go back again to gold. So gold right now, it's still, this is the structure we're looking at. See that whole correction? I can probably do gold for you from the higher time frame. This is what gold look like. Right? We made this move down, that move up, this move down, this move up. Simple. The next move could be either way down to the bottom here, in the big picture, way down to the bottom here, or we make a flat here, like this, and then go back up. Right? We've had flats like that. Here is an example of one. See, they go up like this, make a flat here, and then go right back up. So can we repeat the same thing here, make a flat here, and then go right back up? Possible. Here's another one. You could either put this one here, or you could put this one here. And then you would have two of them. Came down here, and then go back up. So it all depends on how you look at it. Come to the bottom here now. We actually made a 1, 2, 3. So if you look at this, this was pretty much a sharp one. We went up, make a flat, break the top, come back, make a flat, break the low. We broke the low, right? So when you broke the low, you started to look to see if you have divergence. And yes, we do have divergence. And in this piece, you look for the reversal. Well, we don't have a reversal. Right? There's no reversal sign. What you have is a flat forming here. Right? So you got to move down, you got to pull back, you got some corrections here. You wanted to go back up, complete this flat, drop, go back up, complete that flat, and then drop, and then go back up. So can we trade in this range? Of course, it's a huge range. We've been trading in it all the time already. So we've been selling, right? And now we're looking at, we bought this one. I think this was the first buy we took to go up. And now we're here. So if we're going to look for a buy setup, this is what you want to see. See this flag here? You want this to go up, make a flag here. And we're going to buy this flag for this move. That is this move up. It may or may not make a second flag. Once we complete that, I would expect them to drop. So we're going to look for a sell setup. And then we'd expect them to go back up. We're going to look for this. This should drop. This should literally drop. Now that's the expectation of a possible pattern that could form. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make that pattern. It could change into a different pattern. And every time a new piece is added to it, you relook at the pattern to see which pattern is the next possible pattern. But if it is going to make this pattern, don't miss the trades. The point is not whether this is the pattern that is correct. The point is, well, if this is the correct pattern, then what's the trade? And it's simple. The trade would be make an impulse, make a flag, and go with that trade. That's how we took this one. And this one some traders took to because we thought it could come back all the way to the top there. See? That's how we took this one. And the same thing you would do here, because this one we took because we thought we were going to get one sharp one like this. It did go up, but then when it starts to do this, we figure out, okay, this belongs to this in the future here, not in the past. So you would look at each piece as they're developing and you would make your forecast. And that is why it's complex. It's not impossible, it's just complex. And should we sell this if we get a flag? Well, maybe. I don't think it's a good idea, but you could give it a try. It's not going to go very far. See? Bitcoin daily charts. I think I showed you the daily charts, my friend. You blink for a second there. If you missed it, let me show you again. Bitcoin daily. Oh, you should have watched this morning as well. So I think this here is likely going to make one more move. We could get to about this level, and then there's a good chance you're going to go down. So this is a buy setup. I don't know how high this is going to go. We'll keep an eye on that. But I believe the possible patterns we're looking at would be like this. Go to the top there, and then come right back down to the bottom here before you go back up, before this actually goes back up. So I feel this correction is incomplete. It has to be something like this. See this? Let's look at the two. You've got to move up. Sorry, you got to move up. You got to move down. You got to move up. Got to move down. Move up. Move down. So you kind of complete something here. They drop to the bottom, and then go back up. You got one. You get 1, 2, 3. Complete this one. Drop to the bottom, and then go back up. Now here's the question: is it going to do that? I don't know. The good thing about this is that you don't have to know which one is going to happen. The basic difference of what I created that is different from Elliott wave theory is that we don't decide what pattern it has to make. You know, Elliott wave theory have all these rules about alternate pattern and, you know, flats and all of this, how it has to be, and it has to be W, A, B, C, W. We don't have that. The way I look at it is, don't try to decide what the chart is going to do. Try to understand what it's doing and figure out where your trade is. Because you don't know for a fact that this is going to be a simple flat. This thing could get as complex as you could possibly imagine. And even more complex than you can imagine too. So what you do is you follow each piece of it. What is the next possible piece? And the next possible piece of this thing here is this one going up. When it gets here, we'll figure it out. If it starts to turn, we know that possibility exists. So if it starts to turn, we're going to sell. If it makes another flag and keep going, guess what? We're going to keep going with it. But the probability of these patterns existing the way we show them is pretty great. If you look at all the patterns I show and all the forecasts I make, they're pretty good. Right? Because we've learned these patterns so much, I think I have a very good grip on them. I don't think there's a second to how you can do that. Right? I actually create this pattern of looking at it this way. Some of these patterns that you're seeing are patterns that we literally identify. They don't exist anywhere, not in Elliott wave theory, not anywhere. Because we look at patterns differently. And because of that, we kind of understand what it's going to do. And then we decide, we traded at this, both sides. You can see there were sell setups here. See that? That's a sell setup. You see this is a sell setup. See this is a sell setup. This is a sell setup. So once the range is huge enough, you can sell. You can buy and you can sell. When it comes in this range, there's no buy and sell in this range. This range is pretty small. This is the range. There is no buy and sell in there. Look for the buy only. Sometimes you get a range where you could do both and sometimes you don't. I like the Ethereum one too because it's the same thing. We have a very good idea when they break the low. If they decide to go up, if this breaks this low here and decide to go up, that'd be a good trade. This was a good one. I think this was a good one. So where would you get it? Get it to come and break this stop. That's a nice trade if you actually get it. I think it's worth it. So that's it. Let's go. What are the trade setups? What are the trades you guys are looking at? Let me know anything that you're looking at right now that's worth it. Yen is going up more, so if you were putting your entry orders, if you still want to put your entry orders above the top for the yen to go, it's at an extreme level, so you have to be careful. It didn't move a lot. These are not going quite a lot. All of them pull back, right? But you can still trade them. You have to pull out 10, 15 pips really quick, right? Because you're not going to get big trades on these anymore. If you want a big trade to the upside, go for the cat. Wait for the cat to make another flag and go for that. That has potentially a big move to the upside. Which means you're going to look at all the cat pairs to see whether the cat is the single one that is going to move. If the cat is the only moving one, which means it's not all the dollar pairs, but just the cat itself is moving, then yep, there'll be very nice trades on it. So let's go get some trades. Tell me what are the trades you're looking at. Keep your eyes on the pound now. If you miss the sell, keep your eyes up for the buy. You see this sharp move back to the top there? That's a good sign this thing is going to go back up. We're not totally going down. It looks like we're going to go back. And even if they're going down, all you need is a flag to sell. Let me go back to the daily. If this thing is totally going down, which I don't think they're doing, but if it is coming down deeper, let's say you're coming down back to like, take this out, sorry. I wanted to grab this one. Let's say they're coming back to this level here. Put it like this. Let's say we're coming back for this move down. Right, let's just say all of this were just corrections in here, and this one is coming back here before they go. That's a possibility, right? If they're coming here, then just wait for a flag here and sell, wait for a flag, sell, wait for a flag, sell. And then we'll go with that. Right? It's not that difficult. Just wait. Now, I don't like this running flat. It's way too small, this one here. So I'm looking at that possibility of it coming deeper and then go back up. But that's just my my personal feelings, put it that way. More of your personal feelings, more of your experience. But that is not a strategy. We don't trade that. You use that to analyze the charts and see what it's doing, and then take the trades you have. So the trade you have here is this one going up. You have to wait for this to start making an up move. Wait for a flag here, and we're going to go with this trade back to the top there. Complete this flat. Come back here. This, if I have to give you a probability, this up move has about an 80% chance of happening than for this to make a flag here and continue to go. So there's a 20% chance of them making a big flag and continue to go down, and an 80%. Well, we're going to be here till Friday, and it's already at the bottom, more or less. So by tomorrow, we will know whether we're going back up or whether we're getting a flag here to the downside. Right? And then we will know which of the patterns are dictating more. Pretty easy. It's not that complicated. Euro is going to give you a trade probably today. This could spike up here pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised if the euro does this today. Give you that spike there and then come down. It's going to come down back, but there's a good chance you're going to spike. The same thing, if you want to sell euro now, you have to wait for it to make a flag here. And then have the confidence. Make something like this, and then we sell that to come and break the low. But when they consolidate like this here, you're not selling it to the bottom here. That's the worst thing you can ever do. It's like selling this at the bottom here, or selling this one at the bottom here. Not a great idea, right? When you get that, you don't sell at the bottom of that. You expect them to go back up. So we're going to expect this to go up. Let's go. Any questions? Any questions? Anything you guys want to look at? Let's go look at it. Friday we had some very good trades. Today a lot of break-even trades. Only one trade is going good today. That is Pangos. All the rest are more or less break-even trades, and even this one is not going great. So at any given time, probably put this to break-even because it's not really going great. If Pong starts to go back up, this would probably just consolidate here. Right, because both Pong and Aussie will go back up. This would start just consolidate here. It wouldn't really go anywhere. So it's not really the best trade. When it's the best trade, when it's a good trade, you will know they're actually going to drop really fast. See, they're not going to go really slow. They're going to end up going fast. When it's going so slow, it's probably not going anywhere. And if Pong starts to go back up, that's definitely not going to be a trade. So let's go. Tell me, what else you guys want to look at? Keep an eye on the Euro Swiss. We're at the top of this structure, this flat. Keep an eye on this one. First, you want this little move. You want that little move there, and then we're going to look for the downside. We're going to look for both the upside and the downside. Going to wait for this to go there and then look for this straight down. So this would not probably go back up the way it's going. So let's see. Can we get this sell? It's going to be too small. I don't think we'll get it. It's going to be tough to get this sell here to come back to this one. You definitely need some kind of flag, and it's not making any flag. It's still going up. So we might not get it. Okay, let's see what else we're looking at. What is the pound New Zealander? How to get rid of fear of losing. So here's a simple way. Right? It's not simple to get rid of fear. So in the first place, you can never get rid of your fear. The only time you get rid of fear is when you're dead. Only dead people can't have the emotion of fear. Fear is an emotion. And emotions are controlled by the brain. The brain is going to pump adrenaline or whatever other hormones that might create that fear and is going to be in your system, and it will create fear. But you can control fear, right? You can't block fear, you can't stop it, but you can control it. And the best way to control your fear is knowledge, right? So let's put it this way, and all of you can answer. If you see a tiger, if you're standing in the road and there's a tiger coming towards you, would you stand up and face it, or would you run? I think because out of fear, you're likely going to run. And the answer for every one of us in this room, unless there is one, what do you call the people who train tigers? Unless there's one of you who train tigers in here, who's going to stand up, the rest of us are going to run. That's a natural instinct. Because your brain is going to close down your logical thinking mechanism. It's going to put on the emotional part, and then you're going to run. Flight or fear, you're going to run. Because you know nothing else better to do. And because your logical thinking is shut down, you can't think logically. Now, how do you control that? Go to the circus, meet the people who train tigers, let them get you to learn to train tigers. They're going to teach you everything you need to know about tiger. They're going to teach you how to behave in front of a tiger, what control mechanism you can use, how to make the tiger not attack you, and if the tiger attacked you, what to do. It's not that you can be bitten by a tiger. People in the zoo do get, people in the zoo and people in the circus do get, they get bitten by tigers. But they're not afraid of them. There's a difference. They don't have the fear of these tigers. They have a knowledge of how to work with them. The rest of us have fear of it. So the best thing to deal with fear is knowledge. If you learn how to do something, you're not afraid of it. It's like anything you're ever going to do in your life. You're scared of heights? Learn how to get on top of things, on high things, and don't be afraid. Even if you have a phobia of heights, you can learn to overcome that phobia. Right? It's a learned skill. Right? You learn how to do it. Great. What's your biggest fear in trading? I think every trader's biggest fear is you're going to lose this trade. That's my biggest fear, right? Oh my God, I'm going to lose this trade. Well, learn how to overcome the fear of losing a trade. So, what do you lose when you lose the trade? You lose money. You lose your winner skills. You lose you think you're a loser. You lose your ability to handle wins. You say, oh my God, I'm just losing. I'm a loser. I can't win this thing anymore, right? You lose a little of your ego because your ego tells you you're a winner. Well, you have to learn to control all of that. And the best way to control all of that is to trade. Trade small. Take the smallest possible trade you can make on a live account, probably 1 micro, and trade like you're crazy. Trade every single trade you see. And don't just take the trades and leave it to go crazy. Take the trades and learn to find a strategy, how to manage it. So that every trade you take, you're going to logically manage it to make sure that you got the minimum amount of loss in a trade. And when it goes your way, you stay with it for the maximum amount of win. Now, what are the process in doing that? Well, the first thing you have to learn is how to analyze the chart. If you're a trader, the number one thing you have to do, I don't care what the hell you learn from anywhere else or anybody tell you, you're not going to learn a strategy and become successful. You're not going to learn a set of rules and become successful. You're not going to learn how to find animals in the chart and be successful. You have to learn to understand how the chart is moving, right? How is it behaving? The behavioral pattern of the chart. And that means studying what is the chart doing when it's doing all this crazy stuff. What is really happening? So when you take a daily chart like this and you look at it, looks crazy. Everything here looks random, looks crazy, doesn't look like it's making any sense to you. Oh, well, it goes up and then, oh, it came down back. And then it kind of do this and go up and it's up and down, up and down. It's really crazy. How the hell are you going to trade this? You have no idea when to buy and sell. As soon as you think you're buying, it's going for a sell. As soon as you think you're selling, it's going for a buy. That's the thought process most people have, that it's pretty random. So I'm going to take this chart, and in a few minutes I'll show you that there's nothing random in it. So let's go. We're going to start with the very first move up. If you go a little backwards, you notice there's a really big move here. So when you get a big move like that here, right? And this kind of make a little pullback and go and break the top again, and then come down back again, and then make a sideways like this, and then drop. That's not a surprise to me. But I would tell you, when I look at something like this, if I'm here, that you know what? This thing would have to go back up, to the top here. I would tell you, at any time you look at a chart like this, that we're going to come back to retest this stuff. Because of a basic algorithm in the chart, the way it works is that it does 1, it does 2, and it does 3. Even after this big move. Not that I would expect that big move. I would expect this to probably come down like this and then go up. But that big move happened. I would say, well, you don't need to be afraid of this. You need to think of how you're going to take advantage of that to get back to the top here. Right? Get back to this top. So this up move was not a surprise. And then you're going to follow the same set of rules. Once it go up, it will consolidate. It's going to go up, it's going to consolidate. It's going to go up, it's going to either consolidate or reverse. Go up there, and when you see it didn't break that top, and this looks like consolidation, you're going down, you get a consolidation, you go down. All of this starts to go up at this point. You don't need to get this one, you need to get this one. Out of this structure, you get a consolidation to go up here. You know where I just showed you a chart like this? With this move here, and we are outside with a flag forming like this, and I tell you there's a good chance it's going to come to go break that top. You want to tell me which chart I just showed you that has that pattern? Like literally a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago. Anybody want to type which charts I showed you? Actually 2. Anybody? Nobody knows? I thought all of you guys were paying attention. I just showed you 2 charts with exactly that pattern. Let's go take a look. See this sideways here? We go up, we break out of it. See that little flag there? I told you they're going to come to break this top here, and then they're going to probably get there. And I showed you Ethereum. I showed you this one, and I showed you this one. And I said you can expect this to go and break that top there. See? Pretty easy. Good job. I'm getting the answer with a delay, but you guys did great. Excellent. So let's go back to which one we were. We're in the Swiss, right? I think we're in the dollar Swiss or the euro Swiss. Which one? Remind me which Swiss we were on. I think we were in the euro Swiss, not the dollar Swiss. Let me go back to the... No, we're in the euro Swiss, that's for sure. Euro Swiss. Yep, we're here. So here's the deal now. You can go back and look at this. When you break out of this, you're coming down. You do this, you're coming down. You do this, you're coming down. You see this? You're coming down. But guess what's happening in here? See this piece here? It's not dropping. It's going sideways. And when you go sideways like that, you're likely going to go up. So let's go and look into that sideways. When you come here and you look into this, you have a move up. See this move up here? You got to move down. You got to move up. You're getting a move down. You're getting a move up. You're going to get a move down. You're going to get a move up. You're going to get another move down as a 3-wave structure. You're going to get this, and you're going to go up. I just actually made about 6 different moves, forecast 6 different moves for you. So if you understand that, if you have a very good understanding of how the chart is going to behave, it's like you're in the cage with the tiger and you have a pretty good understanding of what the tiger can and cannot do. So you know if the tiger is going to attack you, what to look for. Behavioral patterns of the tiger. That it's showing signs that it's going to attack you, so you start reacting to that and you will stop the attack even before it starts. With no fear, but with a set of knowledge of how it's going to behave. Right? Like, don't turn your back to the tigers. Watch for this type of behavior, watch for this type of behavior. And if you understand all of that, you go into that cage with less fear, with controlled fear, which means you're controlling your fear while you're there. It doesn't mean you don't have any, it just means you're controlling it pretty good. The same thing here. If you have a good idea what the chart is going to do and you take a trade, when you come to the 1 hour and you look for a trade, you have an idea what it can do. So when you're taking a trade, you are not taking a trade out of fear. You're taking a trade out of logical thinking, and you know what to expect. So if it doesn't behave the way you want it to behave, you can stop the trade before it becomes a fear factor. So this morning when it was here, in this level here, I told you we're looking for a sell to come back here and maybe even come back to this low. Right? So that is my trade. I'll put an entry here, I'll put a stop here, and I'll go for this trade. But instead, it went up. So what we did, understanding what the chart is likely doing and how it can behave after that means that this sell is no longer valid. Not only is the sell not valid, we don't have a buy here. For me to get a buy, I'm not just going to go crazily and jump into this. Oh my God, it's going up, look, let's go. I'm not saying it's not going to do that. I'm saying there is no setup. There is no pattern whereby I think this is going to happen. So if I'm going to get a trade, I need this to pull back here. And if it does pull back there and do this, guess what? I'll probably get myself in a trade here going up. Now, if you know that, and let's say I even take this trade here to go up, but it's not going. But you clearly understand how the chart is going to behave. You have a very clear vision of how and the next pattern should behave. And if the next pattern is not doing what you want it to do, instead of jumping into fear and going into all those emotions and roller coaster that 90% or 99% of traders go in, I will just say to you, you know what, this thing is not doing what we expect it to do. So let's close it and wait to see what it's doing. Right? So this one we bought. And there is a good reason why we bought it. I showed you the entire structure, showed you why I think if this goes up, this trade would be an amazing trade to the top there. Well, you know what? This was not the first time we buy it for that trade. That was not the first time we did. The first buy we took was in this one for this to go up and break the top. Continue to go up. The second time we bought it, I think, was in this one for this to go up and take it. And guess what? We made another attempt. Each of those attempts were positive closing. Just like this one this morning. I didn't take a loss on the trade. I didn't wait. Most traders, when they got into that buy and it tagged them and it's like, oh my God, I just lost the trade. I don't know what happened. Look, it was supposed to go up. Look, it's dropping. I have no idea what I'm doing. We actually sold that. Well, because what I figure out here is that it's no longer going. It's not doing what I wanted to do. So when it came back, when it made that consolidation here, we closed the trade here. Because we pretty much figure out that, you know what? If it breaks the top twice, and it did break the top twice, and it starts to come down to consolidate, we're likely going to drop. Now, I didn't sell it. Again, I explained to you, I'm not quite interested in the sell at the bottom here because the risk to reward in the sell might not be that great. Now, this probably would have been a sell. I tempt myself a lot to decide whether I should sell this or not. But then because they're consolidating here, the chances are this is too small. They'll probably do more of this. Come back here and make a bigger flat for the sell. Well, if we had a bigger flat, I'd sell it. Just like this. When this had a bigger flat here, when it came in and made this bigger flat, we sold this. That would have closed and re-enter and this one going down. Right? So what you're going to do here is if this starts to go back up, we'll buy again. All I needed to do is do the same thing I did here. Go back up, give me a flag. I'm going back for the trade again to the upside. No fear, no emotions in that. Just logical thinking of the trade that I want and how this pattern is going to behave. Now, can I sell this at any given point in time for more downside? Well, yes, if I'm going to sell it now, I'll just patiently wait for it to make another flat. Wait for this to come back and make a sideways like this, and then yes, tomorrow we'll all be selling it. Just like we sold this one. This is a pretty small consolidation, and it means we are still in this impulse. So I wouldn't be surprised if we make a deeper one if they're going to drop. But I expect this to go up more. So we'll see what happens when it gets there. Now, is there a chance that this bigger pattern come and tag the low? I'll give you something we do in our trading room. Is there a chance that this thing comes here and come back and break this low? It's pretty rare, but it's possible if you look at this as an expanding flat. And there is a possibility that that could be an expanding flat. If you take out the smaller one and you look at it, you can make an argument for this being an expanding flat here, because there's a lot of internal pieces in here that would probably fit that, and you can logically say, well, what if these two was an expanding flat here? If that is an expanding flat, then you have 1, 2, 3. You could go with 1, 2, 3. So there is a chance that this could come and break the low, but then I would want a correction here like this, or even a deeper one, and then come down for this move. You want something like this or something like this to prove that, well, yes, after that drop you get this, after this drop you get that, and then that sell becomes the logical sell. It looks easy when I draw it, right? Because I'm drawing it with a vast amount of knowledge of how patterns should behave. You don't have that knowledge. So when you're in a trade, you can't do what I just did. You can't repeat all those steps that I just did, because you don't have that database of knowledge to make all those assumptions, to make all those patterns, to visualize what the next pattern can do. But if you go into my group, there is about almost every other trader. I would say 9 out of 10 traders can repeat what I just did. Well, 9 out of 10 because some of them are pretty new traders in the room. But if you go in the trading room when they're analyzing charts, when I'm not there, you would see that that's exactly what they do. The skill level and the ability is good, and that's what we do. We train traders to do that. This course we're going to be starting on Monday would be pretty much different from all the courses I did before. Now, if I was one of the sales people who were selling pro course and diamond course and elite course and I don't know, whatever, I would just book this one up as another elite course and sell it back to all my traders. Literally, hey, you want this one? This is an elite one now, or this is a diamond one, or this is a platinum one. I'm not in the business of selling courses, and most traders don't get it. I'm in the business of training you to understand how to read the charts and how to trade it. And if you want to do that, then you join our group. If you don't want to do that and you want to buy courses, there are a lot of courses selling out there. According to one guy, hey, somebody's selling your course for $500. I'm like, congratulations, go buy it. If somebody is selling my course for $500, all you're buying is a set of videos with no knowledge of how to use it. Because anybody who's stealing my course and sell it out there does not have the vast amount of knowledge to explain to you how to use that knowledge you just accumulated for $500. You have no idea what you're going to do when you get yourself in the corner. Because I have traders in the room for 4 years who can do exactly what I did there, and there are still moments when they're stuck in a corner that they don't see the charts clearly as to what is the next stage. And that's where I come in, to break it up and show you the pieces of how you're going to make the next move and what you should wait for, and why selling this last piece at the bottom here is not the best trade to go with. I'm not saying it's not going good. I'm saying it's not the best trade to go with. And you know how you would know it's not best? When they tag you there and go back up and oh my God, what just happened? Well, yeah, it could drop, but the best trade to go with is wait for this to pull back, because it will pull back. And then sell it from the top here going down, if it's going to continue to go down. Or actually buy it from the bottom here to go up. Because if this is going to go up, you're going to get this one above that top. So which trade do you want? That's the point. Which trade do you want and how do you want to trade it? See, So all of these pieces of visualizing how the chart could actually develop is what you need to do first. That is what is going to take the fear out of your trading. The knowledge of how it can behave. Because when it doesn't go your way, that knowledge is what's going to allow you to exit that trade way before it becomes a catastrophe. And 90% of traders, let's say 100% of traders who lose their account, didn't lose it because they couldn't make winning trades. As a matter of fact, some traders have 70% win-loss ratio and they still lost their account. You would say, how is that possible? Well, I've seen those accounts. That's why I'm telling you it's possible. I did over, I think for the period that I'm training traders, I might have done about 1,000 interviews with trader. I might have done about 500 one-on-one with traders. Not just interview where I'm looking at them, one-on-one where I'm actually reviewing account and trying to save it. And one of the number one thing that you found is traders would make out of 100 trades, 60 to 70 are winning trades. Let's say about 30 out of the 100, but let's go with percent, 60%, 70%. 30% would be losing trades that are small. And 10% will be the one that actually broke the account. 10% of their trades is what break the account. Normally it's just a couple trades that they didn't know how to get out of, they didn't have a stop loss to, and actually just went really, 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 really bad. See a trader win. Depends on the size of your account, right? Win 1%, win 1%, win 1%, win 1%, win 2%, win 1%, and then lost 10%. Minus 10% lost. All of this gone down the drain. And you only need a couple of that for the account to disappear. Now, that has never happened to any one of you in here. I'm talking about other traders, right? Most of you are saying, well, that's not me. I've never done that. That's for the other guys, right? But that's the reality of what happens to most traders. The problem is when you get in the trade, you don't. One of my traders put it the correct way. He said, I know everything. I know all the rules. I know how to trade. I know how to analyze it. But he said, as long as I'm not in that trade, I literally can take that trade and exit it when it's not going, or take that trade and make profit when. But the minute I get into that trade, and I think he might be in this room. I can't see who here, but I can't use his name because I didn't ask the permission to do that. He said, the minute I get into that trade, it's like I have become a narco person. I can't literally do what is right. Once I'm in the trade, everything goes, all the rules, everything I know just goes out of the window. And I'm literally behaving like a person who doesn't know what to do. Although he knows everything. He understands all the rules. He knows exactly how we should manage that trade. He literally doing great analysis. Because I did with him and I know he's analyzing everything great. But when you're inside, and that's where the emotions take over. And emotions could come for many different reasons. Maybe what happened to you in your past, in your trades, maybe, there are many, many reasons why you could get emotional about a trade. So once you start developing that whole thing about how to control that emotion, it will work. It is better to miss a trade than to be in a trade emotionally. So I tell my traders something. If you took a trade and it's going your way and you start to really get anxious, put it to break even if you can. If it's going against you and you're really getting upset and it's not, take off the trade. Because you can't trade it anymore. You're literally not going to be able to make rational decisions about it. That's all. Knowledge. One simple thing that will control your fear is knowledge. Right? You ever see people who work on skyscrapers? They're not afraid of height. You think they're not afraid? You think they don't have fear in them? They do. They just learn how to control the fear by understanding what they're doing at different heights. Right? They understand the process well. They are well practiced. They're well trained. So that fear is not there that much. It's controlled. Questions, let's go. Next questions, next charts, next trade setup. We're going to get some good trades. If we didn't get any good one today, don't worry very much. We're still going to get a lot of good ones. Let me put this back the way it should be. So for now, we're going to put this back here because I'm just giving you the possibility. We're not going to go with that possibility as yet. Bitcoin, somebody won. I think I just did Bitcoin. Ah, no, that was an answer to the question. I think that was an answer to the question. If that's somebody who wanted Bitcoin. Anything else, that's good. So here's the thing. Ethereum tomorrow might be a wonderful trade. So you may want to put your insurer in today because these things move very fast sometimes. And you get a sudden spike in Ethereum, Bitcoin, all of those. I like this one more. Bitcoin is nice, but I like this one more. I don't know why, but Bitcoin is pretty good. If you put an entry order here, and Bitcoin do this, what do you care? Like literally, if you put an entry order to buy there, and instead of going up, it drops tonight to this, tomorrow morning you come, Bitcoin is here, do you care? No, you shouldn't. Because there's no reason why you should be selling it here, expecting it to come here. The most I expect it to do is to break this low and go back up. But if it breaks the low, if tomorrow we come and we break this low and we make a flag here, oh yeah, well now you can sell this one for this to happen. See? Oil, Canadian, New Zealand CAD. Let's go look at them. Let's start with the ones that are closer. The closest one is the Canadian. Okay, that's a sell. Canadian is a sell you can actually take right now. I explained the possibility that when you take this trade here, you watch this piece here, right? Because it might drop and they might do this and then go down. So keep a stop above the top, but you don't have to live with that stop. Again, if you understand the way the structure is going to be, if you don't have to live with that stop. But there's a very, very rare chance of you losing this trade. Worst case is you're going to get break even out of it. So this is already an active sell. We could put this in. I don't know why I don't have it on, but it's an active sell. Oil. If you sold the oil, you close it already. When it tag you here, go back there, come back here, close the trade. So you should be off of it. If you're not off of it as yet, it's going to pull back, close it. So I would go with it this way. We're either making a running flat here for one more down, which means you might still get a chance to close it if you didn't close it. But remember when I showed you this morning, I said there's a possibility they're going to do this. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one actually goes up there and we get a pattern that looks like this. Now, do we have a buy setup? Not as yet, but can we get a sell setup? Absolutely. If this goes one sharp move up to the upside there, look for a sell setup. If it goes up here and make a flag, well, you can consider that trade. That's all you're going to get. One trade. And then we look for the sell setup tomorrow. Bigger picture, this is what it looks like. See? You can look at all the flat patterns, right? We made a big flat, we dropped, we made another flat. See, this is a 1, 2, 3. This one should come here. Then we drop. We make another correction, we drop. We're making another flag here. I think once we make this one here, we could probably drop like this. When we drop like this, the idea is we might break this low. This might come and break. If it doesn't break the low, then this would break this low and then go back up. So if this only comes to this level here, if you only drop back to this level here, break this low, right? Kind of looking at like this. Come here, break that low and start to go back up. We would expect it to come back all the way back to the top here. And then we would look at this as a bigger flat for one more down. I don't think we'd look at it as a bigger flat for total upside. But one more down from that level. So when it's going so slow like this, then you assume that it's going to make a bigger correction. So go back here. I'm not sure you're going to get the buy, but you can get the sell. If it's going to be a buy, most likely when it gets to this level, look for a small flag for this trade. Not that much, but to this level, and then one more down. And from there, we'll decide whether we go back up. Whether we go back up or whether we totally drop. New Zealand CAD is at the bottom. We have a running flat forming in it, so we're going to go back up. We're looking for the buy setup now. Now that we broke the low, this sharp move has to happen. So if you look at the entire structure of it, go to the daily, and you look at the entire structure, this is what you have. We're coming down slowly like this. Now there's a very, very rare chance that this here is the running flat. This piece, 1, 2, 3. And this one is going to go back up there and then drop and drop, break this low and then go back up. Right? There's a rare chance that is how it's going to happen. Right? I don't think that is how it's going to happen. I think this one here is the low. That's my thought process. That is the low. Take this off. And that means this one has a higher probability of going back to the top, because it looks very corrective. And sometimes you think because it's going lower, it's not. Look at this one. See how low this one went into this move before you get that move there? So think of this move up and look at these two. See this? We're going to go one more down. We're going to come here. We're going to go one more down. And then I'm expecting that to happen. Now, it doesn't have to happen. At least I have an idea what it should look like. So we were already buying this to the upside. Because our thought process, well, this one is the one that is going to go. And then it dropped. Now you broke the low. So that by itself can be all the correction. Let me take this out. Sorry. That was showing us when this was going to go up the curve. So take that out now. I still think this is going to come back here, make a running flat, drop one more. So can we sell it if we get a flag? Absolutely. If it makes a flag here, you sell. Right? If this stays here and make a flag here, you sell for one more drop. That would not change structurally the running flat. It could still make another flag and drop. We'll still sell. As soon as we get a buy setup, we're in that trade to the upside. If this break the low and go back up to make a buy setup here, we'll buy it. Because the buy is a bigger risk to reward trade. And you don't have to know whether it's going to go up now. You wait for the setups. You wait for that thing to tell you what it's going to do. Actually, this was a sell. I don't remember if we sold this one, but we sold about 6 yen pairs. The yen Swiss was definitely one that we sold. The dollar yen was one that we sold. The euro yen was a buy setup. So we had quite a lot of the yen pairs. I think the New Zealand Aussie, not the yen, sorry, the New Zealand pair. The New Zealand pairs were that we sold. The New Zealand Swiss, the New Zealand yen, the New Zealand euro New Zealand, and the dollar New Zealand. Those were the ones we sold. Right? So keep an eye on this. It's probably a sell. And then we'll look for the buy tomorrow. So if you understand structure, that gives you an advantage in the trading, right? It gives you the edge you actually need. Because even when trades are not going your way, at least you understand why it's not going your way. Right? You understand what is happening, what is changing in the patterns. And you can look at an advantage of getting out for positive. Because you know what? They do give you a lot of time to get out for positive. And that is because of the wavy nature of things. It's not going to go away without coming back. So your chances for positive or really small losses are great, if you understand it. If you don't, then you don't know when you should close a trade. Because most of the time when you're in a trade, your brain is focusing one direction. You're thinking, your whole thought process, well, this trade is going to go. That's why you took it in the first place. If you took a trade, your thought, well, it's just coming back a little, it's still going to go. Right? Because you've created a bias in your brain, and that bias will not allow you to close it. Right? If you heard in the news that, hey, you know what, this thing is going to drop because of X, Y, Z, so you got in the sell. I could go a little your way, but then it starts to pull back. And you're like, oh, no, that's just a little pullback, it's still going to go. And then you watch it pull back more, and you're thinking, well, maybe it's still going to go. Because you've not released the bias you have in your head. You still have the bias for one direction. So it's hard for you to get rid until it's too late. And when it's too late, then you start to panic. And then when you panic, you can't definitely close it anymore. And that one trade could be a disaster for you. But when you have the wave analysis which you're using, which means you're logically thinking about a pattern, and you see what the pattern is doing, and you see a change in the pattern because you'll see a pattern to the opposite direction, then you are like, okay, well, this pattern means downside. This pattern doesn't mean upside. So I need to get out. So I'm looking for a buy here when we break the low, but this is a pattern that says downside. So logically what I should do is sell it. This is a sell entry here for this one. This doesn't have a buy setup and it has a sell setup. But I also know that once we break this low here, there's a very, very, very high probability that it could do this, make a correction, and go up. So if I get into this trade, it drop here, pull back, and it starts to correct like this, I'm not living in hopes that, oh, well, now it's going to drop, so I will stay with the trade. And instead watch it come and take you out here for a loss. Or take you out wherever you have your stop loss. Or worse yet, you don't have a stop loss and this starts to go up. Right? Because if you're not looking at patterns, you wouldn't see this as a correction for upside. You would see that as a possibility of going your way. You would actually say to yourself, you will convince yourself that, okay, now it's going my way. I watch traders do that. They say, oh, well, now it's going my way. And no, it's not really going your way. It's actually correcting to go against you. So you got to get the hell out of that, because that's not going. That's your chance to get out for break even. That's your lucky chance to get out for break even. And if you mistake that as it going your way, then like all traders who are using anything else but wave analysis, because the wave analysis is the only thing that will allow you to see that. That is not going your way. So you use support and resistance, you don't know which way it's going. It's either going to break or bounce or whatever you think it's doing at any given point. I don't know. You're using a pin bar, the pin bar might not show you. Oh, it's just pulling against the pin bar until it breaks through the pin bar. And, So there's a lot of useless things you can use, but they're not allowing you to read the charts itself and understand what the charts are doing. Right? So was this a buy? Yeah, but I know that's not gonna go. I want to buy in this, but I didn't say let's buy this. Because I know that once you do this, you're just gonna go there and come back down. I know that this is not the one that I'm looking to buy. The one that I'm looking to buy would have to look like this one. It would have to look like this. This one we bought this, right? And then we'll continue to buy it. Anything that I'm buying has to look more like a structure that says upside, not a structure that says, you know what, this is one more down. See, that's the advantage of wave analysis. You understand what the chart is doing. You get a clearer vision. How you're going to trade it, that's a lot. That a lot will depend on you, your skill level, how much you manage to understand it, how much you manage to develop it, how much you can handle risk, how you can trade. All of that will be different. That your level of success will depend on how good you are as a trader itself. Like how can you implement the strategies we give you, how you're good at getting out of trades or getting in trades, where you're exiting the trades and all of that. And there's no right or wrong. There's how much skill levels you have at doing them. But the analysis, there's only one way to analyze it correctly, because it's not going to do two different things for the two of us. Right? It's not going to go down for you and go up for me. It's going to go one direction for all of us. Right? Whichever direction is going the same. So once you get that skill level, you can take advantage of it both ways. See? That's it. Let's go. Next questions. Okay, we finished those. Anything else anybody wants to look at? Anything else you want? By the way, keep your eyes on the Swiss. I think we're going to get a sell setup on the Swiss. The CAD is making a buy setup for you. You're kind of started consolidating in the CAD for a buy. So you may also want to look at the Swiss CAD. If you took this trade, it's here consolidating. Put this trade to break even. And wait to see what this does. If this starts to consolidate a lot here, take the profit to the top, put an entry above it. Especially if you start to see that consolidation, because this consolidation could come deeper and then go. So if you're getting that, at least you want that profit. And it could come deeper because this is a single move, right? This whole thing is one single move that hasn't corrected us yet. So you don't want to take this trade here and then let it become like this, right? You don't want this to happen, because we will be buying this. We might even sell some here, but we'll be buying this. See? I don't have a trading journal. I don't keep journal. I don't have the time and the patience for that. Trading journal is where you're writing down whatever you want to learn to do. I'm doing this webinar here without any without any PowerPoint or anything to any effect. I will do the entire course, 6 weeks, with no notes. Zero notes. I don't have any notes in front of me when I'm doing it. I don't need it. All my webinars I do every day, 3-4 webinars a day. I don't do them with notes. I don't need a journal. I pretty much can read the charts very well for that, and I understand all the strategies and all things I'm doing. Journal is just to help you, remind you what you're doing. Oh, if we trade the news, we do that every time. By the way, we will be trading the news at 5:30. Oh, it's just finished. Sorry. We should have been trading it. We trade the news, all the news, every day. Once there's a news, I'm in the room trading it live. We don't trade the news for the news. We trade the news for the patterns. We'll probably do it. Let me see what tomorrow holds. We'll probably do one live here. I really don't like doing them live on YouTube. Not a great idea. We do them when we're not putting videos out on YouTube. If you're in the installment program, you would see how we do it. Oh, we have news 4:30 tomorrow. That's a good question, whether we'll do it live on YouTube. I don't think. I'll prepare it for my traders, but I don't think we'll do it live on YouTube. Not a great idea to do. But we trade all the news events. We don't trade the news as such. We trade the patterns during the news. That's a different thing. New Zealand yen. Let's see what New Zealand yen has for. Yeah. Okay, so New Zealand yen, here's what you're going to do. There are a number of ways this pattern could look at. You could look at it as a possible running flat here, which means this goes up one more, come back here, and then go. That's one option. The second option is you could watch this literally come down much lower here. Don't try to sell it. It's not going to be a good sell setup. And then go up. So if it comes here, look for a buy setup. If it turns from here, look for a buy setup. Because now there is a very, very rare chance that this is a contracting flat. This is the top and this one is dropping. If that is going to happen, I would need this to consolidate there for a very long time. At least a day. And we will all look for that trade down. If you get a 60 minutes flag here, it will just probably bring you to about this level and then go back up. So for the sell setup, for the contracting flat, we don't have to worry about it. That'll be a total setup, perfect setup for the sell before we go with contracting. As of now, I think this one is the most dominant one, and this could go back up. So look for this trade here. And we'll see. The reason that one is possible is because you could also make this a contracting flat here. Could also look at that as a contract. It means that this would come here and then go back up. But if it starts to go back up from here, go with that trade. As a matter of fact, New Zealand should go back up. Let's look at New Zealand dollar. So this one, I'm expecting this to go back up. This was the sell from yesterday. We expect this to go back up. Now we're waiting for the buy setup. Why I think this should go back up? But let's look at the bigger picture, what we have here. This is what we have. And we kind of complete this one here. I think that completed itself. It came here. This is an up move. I think this is a correction here. I'm looking at that as a correction, and this correction should probably even come back here. Now, when it comes to this level, we're either going to go back down one more, which I don't think is going to happen, but it's possible. I think we're going to go out of this structure. So you want to keep your eyes on this for the buy setup. You want that move up. Now, it might, like I said, it might do this. We might do this and then come back here and then go, making this a bigger one, including this as well. In that case, we'll include those two. Now, in a very, very, very rare chance of this just coming down to the bottom here and then go without going back to the top, where we will put these two as a flat here. But because this has a huge flat here and it went up, there's a good chance this is a huge flat, go up there and then come down and then go. See? So which one is it going to be? Here is the good news. You don't need to know which one it's going to be. You need to know the possibilities. So you need to know that there are about 2 or 3 possibilities that exist. That shows you the pattern to complete this whole structure. That's what you need to. You definitely need to know what I just showed you. And then you need to go in the chart and say, okay, if X, then what? So if upside to make this move, if this move, then what? If this move to break the low here and then go up. How do I trade it? Now, why did we take this sell? Well, because we got that. So if I get a correction here tomorrow, we're selling it. If I get an up move and a flag here tomorrow, I'm buying it. I know where it's likely going to go, and I know the possibilities, how it's going to develop. And based on that, I'll be making my decisions. That's the power of the knowledge of wave analysis. See? It's pretty easy. As long as you know it, right? As long as you know what you're doing, it's easy. And that's what we teach you to do. That's what we train each of our traders to do. To understand all the possibilities of the chart and to know how to deal with it. I would leave you guys with that thought. Now, if you can join the group, and we have done this as an exception for those traders who are struggling with money to join the group full, is we give you an opportunity to join as an installment trader. What that gives you is give you the chance to join us for a minimum amount of money, a coffee a day, to pay for the course. That money does not go for the webinar. You're not paying for the webinars. You're getting the free access to the London and New York session. These two sessions we do, you will get them free every day if you start paying for the course. Right? How can you pay? Well, there are traders who paid in 3 months, in 5 months, in a year. We've had traders who started and just paid $100 every month, all the way to a year and a half, and then complete it, because by the year and a half, they just complete the payment and join the group. Right? At some point, you might make a lot of money and decide, well, one trader joined, he might be in the group right now, he will say he paid one sum, paid $100, and then the next thing you know, he's sending the full sum of money. Yeah, he didn't even wait until the month end. He just said, okay, I'll just pay out the full sum now. All he needed was a week to see what we do and decide, well, that's good for him. Right? So he wanted to join full, but he just needed a week to see what we do. After he saw what we did for a week or two, he just, oh, I'm all in. I don't need anything more. That's all I need to see. Now, you are getting that 1 week here where you're just seeing what we do, so it's up to you to decide. Right? Now, there are traders who are struggling and who do not have $100. So these free webinars are for you to learn something. You're not going to learn everything, but you're going to learn something. Right? And hope you don't lose your account. That's the whole point. So if you think what we do is good, share it to another trader. Find another trader you know and share it with him. Let him watch it and decide for himself whether this is going to help him or not. You think there's the struggling trader out there? Oh, there are many. The reason there are so many thousand brokers out there who are growing like mushroom in a rainy day is because brokerage do make a lot of money, and the only way brokerage makes a lot of money, losing traders. They don't really make money in commission. I can tell you that. 99% of the brokers out there do not make money in commission. They make money in losing traders. And you know how I know that? Actually, I get offered from over 50 brokers who said, we're going to pay you $20 for every wrong trade a trader make if you recommend them to us. If you become our IB and you send us trader, every wrong trade they make, we will give you the commission of $20, plus we will give you an entry fee commission for every time they open every live account a trader open. And they're going to shower you with a lot of money to bring traders to them. And why? Because every cent that you take there, you're going to lose. And they're just going to pay me the commission that they're charging you for the trade. So literally all the money that the broker is supposed to keep for himself, that he's supposed to make for profit, he's sharing out to IBs. So that IBs can bring more trader to him and not to another broker. Now, I know you have to use a broker. So I'm not saying that, but I don't want to be the one to tell you which broker to use. And I don't want to be the one to take the money that you're going to lose. That's not my thing. My thing is to train you to be successful traders, to help you to understand the chart so that at least you don't lose your account. One of the guys who got thrown out of the group he didn't get thrown out, he left himself because he was too annoying and he couldn't simple things. But the last thing he left as an insulting thing is, I said, well, when you're ready to come back, send me a message. You will be accepted back in the group. It doesn't matter what he said. The very last thing I wrote him was, Okay, when you got over all your anger and all the nonsense you're going on with, and you're ready to come back, send me a message. You have lifetime access. And his insulting thing was why I should come back to your group to be a break-even trader. Well, he was a losing trader when he joined. That's a compliment, my friend. When you join us, you're losing money. You left and you're angry with us and you're a break-even trader now. Congratulations. Right? Congratulations. You've gotten somewhere. You're not losing your account anymore. And that's progress. Had he stayed on for another year, he'll be a successful trader. Maybe less than a year. He would already be a successful trader. But some people allow their egos to get bigger than themselves. So they can't fit into our trading room with that size of ego. I don't know. That's just part of it. Just to show you, right, that his insulting thing to me was that why should I stay in your group to be a break-even trader? I'm like, if all the traders out there come into my group and become break-even traders, wouldn't the brokers be upset? That's 90% of traders who wouldn't lose their account anymore. Just put it that way, if he thinks that's insulting. Think of it, if he's making an insult and that's the worst he can come with. Well, congratulations, I think I'm doing a great job. If I can stop you from losing your account. That is an accomplishment by itself. So, I'll leave you guys with that thought. Trade with care. Enjoy your day and see all of you tomorrow. Please spread the news. Let's get more people in the room. Thank you very much. Bye.